Alright, Maniacs, so today we are going to be watching some Gypsy Rose Blanchard content. A lot of people have been asking me to do this. They want to hear my thoughts because I don't know too much about the true case. So there's a lot of people who just really want me to get an idea of why this person truly deserved to get out for said that she deserved to get out because of the crime that she really didn't truly commit. A lot of people find the actions to be justified. So I will be diving into this. I don't know a whole lot about the case. All I know is that the girl convinced her boyfriend to kill her mother because her mother apparently was a very not well person and really a torturous person. So we're going to go ahead and dive into this, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and dive into this stuff. Jesus, almost knocked my coffee down. That would have been bad.
At that age, I really didn't understand why my mother was moving us from place to place to place, or why at certain times we didn't have a place to live. But it really kind of showed me that all I really had in my life was my mother.
Since my incarceration, I am finally free to build relationships and friendships. The best memory that I have in my entire life is the day that I got to prison and I got to go out to the picnic tables. And I'm like, I'm free. I'm free to have friends. I'm free to do what I want. I might be in a controlled environment.
If that is not the saddest thing I might have ever heard in my entire actual life, she just literally said that she would rather have been in prison than at home with her own mother. That's how we're starting this video out. No kidding. That is actually heartbreaking.
But this is nice.
You're making me cry.
It's the truth. It's such a good memory.
1999. Gypsy is 8. Oh, wow. Louisiana. No kidding.
When Gypsy was around 8, Dee had called one day and said she was diagnosed with leukemia. Like, this poor girl. She has all of these illnesses and then has this.
Honestly, I really didn't know what cancer was. But I was going through so many medications and surgeries that I didn't question it.
Most of the family felt that it was not real. You know, it's kind of like the wheelchair. But then Dee was shaving Gypsy's head.
Why?
And seeing that the medicine is making her hair fall out. So you really didn't know what was going on.
Of course, it was years before we found out that, she didn't have leukemia. That wasn't true.
What? Wait. She didn't have cancer? Her mom actually made that up to shave her head? No way. That is sick. What the fuck?
That all of it is a lie.
Why?
Munchausen by proxy perpetrators go to the ends of the earth to maintain the charade of having a sick child.
Feeding tube. Wow. After looking at the medical records, apparently Dee had suggested to different doctors that Gypsy was not getting enough calories to allow her to gain weight, meaning by mouth, which is just wild because all of that was a lie.
The documents that we saw, Gypsy, said that you have a fear of eating.
That's ridiculous.
How?
Is that something like my mom said?
Yes.
Wow, no, I never had a fear of eating.
Her mom actually told them that she had a fear of eating, so she fed her through tubes? For what actual purpose was this? Why? Oh my, this is, okay, I knew she did some fucked up I didn't think it was like this level. of like insanity. You wouldn't even believe it the first time you heard it, but the fact that it's actually like in documents that this is what she did, this is what she told people. Man, if I was the doctors, I'd have been questioning everything. And I'm sure they were,
Regardless
right?
of what Dee Dee said, it's a doctor's job to figure out what's real and what's not. And that was not done for Gypsy.
Oh my fuck.
Unfortunately, the decision was made to have a surgical procedure to put a hole into her skin down to her stomach in order to feed.
All based on a lie.
My
So,
mom,
so because her mom lied, they actually shoved a tube into her. They cut into her and shoved a tube down in her so she could eat. But she was full of it. Like, that the mom was full of it.
trying to make things that was being done to me fun, and so like the feeding tube's name was Mickey Button.
Oh my
And
god.
so she came up with a song. It went like this: Mickey Button, MICKEYBOTTON, Mickey Button, Mickey Button.
We find feeding tubes such a common aspect of Munchausen syndrome by proxy because a feeding tube gives a parent almost unlimited control to poison and medicate, starve, and feed their kid.
After
She wanted to be in
the
complete
doctors
control.
placed the feeding tube in my stomach, I spent 6 months straight inpatient in Children's Hospital in New Orleans. But it wasn't too scary because there was another little girl that was inpatient, and she had a feeding tube. And so seeing that she had one made it easier to accept that I have one.
She had a feeding tube installed, so she couldn't have any physical hard foods, and so they need to clean out some of that stuff from time to time.
The feeding tube was painful, especially when it needed to be changed, because stomach acid erodes the internal hardware of it. And so every 6 months, it has to be replaced. And when it has to be replaced, the child or person is not put under any kind of general anesthesia. They just deflate the balloon that's inside the stomach that keeps the feeding tube in place, and then they just flip it out. But it expands the incision that it gets placed in, and so that part is particularly painful. It made me scream a couple times.
How can a mother mentally do this to her kid and think it's okay? Just have some sort of ounce of like control over this child, over this person, to put them through literally hell, in a sense, in some cases, in some scenarios.
Always.
I mean, it basically was hell for her, because apparently she'd rather be in prison. At least she had some sense of freedom. It was a controlled environment, but she had a sense of freedom besides with her mom, which is, oh my god, that if that doesn't tell you how scary that household would have been, I mean, yikes.
I'm so proud of you, for being so strong and being in such good spirits. She never sounded depressed or sad.
I think I had the feeding tube placed in when I was about 8 years old, and
8 years old.
had that feeding tube changed every 6 months
Unbelievable.
until I was 24.
So you had to get that changed twice a year for 15 years?
For 15 years.
15 years of dealing with
I
that
don't
mom.
believe that there is a single rational human being on the planet that would not agree that what Dee Dee did to Gypsy was one of the most egregious forms of parental abuse you can imagine.
It just breaks my heart so much to think how much I trusted her. And it makes me angry how she took this child and then do what she did. While I was going to hospitals and having these surgeries and tests done, the Ron McDonald House and Rooms became like a second home. If not, it felt like a first home, because we would stay there for months on end. And I guess it kind of disguised the fact that we were homeless. Gosh, there's so many good memories that I have of that house. The staff became more like family to us. I remember.
We have one thing in common. We both love Ronald McDonald. Like, I do, man. I love Ronald McDonald. I have a lot of Ronald McDonald merch. I've always been a fan of clowns, so that's kind of neat to know. Yikes! Wow, this is a devastating story. I had no idea. 15 years of being under that woman's supervision, and to be put up with that stuff year after year after year, and to have complete trust into your own mom. I mean, that's what a kid does, is trust their parents. It doesn't matter whatever they do, even if it's the worst kind of situation or worst kind of parenting, a kid will always trust their parent, until they realize that something's up, until they're old enough to realize that, oh, this is wrong. Remember, I heard that story one time. There was an actual story of like some guy on TikTok or something along those lines where he was talking about how he used to think he was hot shit back in school, right? And all the teachers would actually have sex with him. And he just thought to himself that he was just a good-looking guy. But in reality, he was actually, and he didn't realize this as a kid, but as an adult, his wife was talking to him about it, and he just thought he was, hot shit. He didn't realize what sex was. He didn't realize what all this stuff was. But the reality was, the teachers were taking advantage of him and using him for sex. He's a kid. He didn't know any better. Kids will trust the adults. That's such a scary concept because, they take advantage of that. That they know the kids trust them. Scary. That is terrifying.
They had this desk in the office, and I used to sit at this desk, and the staff would let me make like an announcement whenever it would be like dinner time. And so I'd get on with the intercom, and be like, dinner is now being served on the second floor dining room. All guests are welcome. I felt so important.
That Ronald looks kind of scary, but I love Ronald McDonald.
The queen of the Mardi Gras parade.
Oh, it's Halloween, that's why.
I had this beautiful blue dress, and I got to have a crown and a scepter. It was great. I felt so safe. It was probably the best place that I could have been as a child.
Wow. And I'm not rolling my eyes. I'm trying not to lose it.
I'm Christine Hooter. I was friends with Gypsy. When I was in elementary school, I was a Girl Scout, and our troop did an Adopt a Family program, and Dee Dee and Gypsy became mine and my mom's family. I was told Gypsy had cancer and was not going to live like past the age of 10 if she was lucky.
She would tell me, with your cancer, you only have about 2 more years. And then when 2 years would come up.
That is fucked. Imagine being told that you have cancer and you only have like about 2 years to live, 2 months to live. Imagine being told that shit as a kid. Like, you probably don't want to get too comfortable. You only have so long to live. I know this might sound really horrific, but I can almost kind of see why at some point she just decided to contemplate the murder of her mom. And I'm not saying it was a right thing to do. I'm not saying that. But it's like I can sit here and I'm slowly starting to understand what would have been going through her mind. I cannot speak on the level that she can because I was blessed with decent fucking parents. I was not put in a situation like this to where I would actually have to have this conversation. I'm actually beginning to understand now. And look, yes, does she deserve to do the time? Possibly, yes. Like, yes, it's still a crime regardless, but like, I'm actually understanding where she's coming from now. This is a touchy situation because it's not the typical serial killer going out there and just murdering somebody just to murder. There was actually like a legitimate reason. Maybe she felt like she was in hell. And the only way to get out of hell was to, like, in this situation, take out the devil, which apparently and unfortunately was her mother. Again, she did not kill her mother. She convinced her boyfriend to do the murder. What may have progressed, 15 years of this, by the way. 15 fucking years of trusting this woman with your life. And for her to keep feeding you bullshit after bullshit, shoving shit into your body.
She would tell everybody and me, it's a miracle you've lived this long.
Ridiculous. I just focused on whatever made her happy. And Gypsy's love for Disney princesses, I feel like, came up 100% of the time I spend with her.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool picture.
Looking back now, that makes a lot of sense because all the princesses are living their best life, which I would imagine is just what she wanted.
She was kind of like Rapunzel, wasn't she? Locked up in a tower kind of thing. Wow.
Anytime that I would make friends, my mother would guilt trip me. I thought I was your best friend. And she would make me, in a sense, push them away myself.
I will definitely react to more content that has to do with Gypsy Rose. The mental abuse that could have been just going. I mean, I don't know what to say right now. A lot more shocking than I realized. If you have any more recommendations for any videos, please leave them in the comments section. Or if you want, join the Discord and go over to the Discord. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or X, or Facebook even. I mean, seriously, it means a lot. I'm gonna be checking this more. I'm gonna be diving more into this case because I really do want to know more. I really want to understand why people, and I'm beginning to understand why people were saying she earned it. She deserves this freedom. And she's so honest too. That was the shocking part. She was honest. She didn't care that was her mom. She said what the mom did, bluntly and plainly. And there's also documents to show that the mom that was truthful. The mom was doing this stuff. And even her finding out what the mom was saying to the doctors behind her back, like how she was afraid of eating. And she's like, that's ridiculous. Who's afraid of eating? Crazy. Like, that's actually crazy. I gotta watch The Act at some point. And so at some point in the future, I gotta watch the show The Act. All right, guys. Take care. Thank you so much.